Hello and welcome back to the CCFC channel. Whoa, it's the 24-25, whoa, predictions, whoa, it starts again tonight with Manchester United versus Fulham. Whoa. I reckon it's going to be really poor. In 20th spot, I've gone for Southampton. Now, they've got Adam Armstrong as their pretty much only option up front. They've got like two other geezers, but I sort of think they're youth players or just not going to play. They do have that Paul Onuachu bloke, which they signed when they were last in the Prem. He's the scorer of the worst hat-trick of all time, which I obviously can't show you. But please search Paul Onuachu hat-trick and watch it. It is unbelievable. I've got them down as going straight back down. Now, they had a period they only got up through the playoffs versus Leeds, but they had a period last season where in the final third of the season, they lost 7 of the final 16 games. That is horrific form when the pressure is on. Will that happen again this season? I don't see any reason for it to be any different. 19th, I've gone for Leicester City going straight back down. Now, interestingly, I put two stalwart Premier League clubs at this point. Two teams who definitely see themselves as just having 1 year out of the Prem and go straight back in because they're a Premier League club. However, I put them both going back down because for Leicester, I like Steve Cooper. I think he might be able to do a bit of a job, but ultimately, they've got Jamie Vardy up front and Patson Daka, and they've not really signed anyone of note, and they've lost Kiernan Dewsbury Hall to Chelsea, who was a very important player for them last year. The only reason I put them above Southampton is because of Steve Cooper, really. I think because he's managed in the Premier League before with a tough, peculiar situation at Forest, I think maybe he could do a tough, peculiar situation at Leicester City. Not to keep them up, but not to make them go down bottom. 18th, I've gone for a new team. I've gone for Nottingham Forest. I think Nuno Espirito Santo is shite. They survived by the skin of their teeth last season. They've got a really good squad. Callum Hudson-Odoi, Morgan Gibbs-White, Awani, Alanga. But I think goalkeeper is a major issue, ironically, because the manager was a goalkeeper. You've got Matt Turner, not good enough. Matt Sells, not good enough. A new 6'8" Brazilian Donny, who I fear probably isn't good enough. Ipswich are 17th and they're surviving for me. It's very, on sheer probability, last season all 3 promoted teams went back down. That is very, very rare. So I've gone for Ipswich to stay up. They got Muric in goal from Burnley. Good enough. Came back into a Burnley team finally last season, and they ended up getting some relatively good results. He has a couple of mistakes in him, but keepers at that level of the table will, as long as he evens out and he's good enough in the rest of the game. So good signing. Amari Hutchinson on a permanent, very important for them last season. Now, a lot of this squad, I believe, are still from League One. Back-to-back promotions. Insanity. Pretty bloody impressive. They've just signed Sammy Smodic, which is a Colchester United legend. He was there for absolutely ages. That guy loves East Anglia. Fair play, mate. It's fine. They've got Liam Delap. They've signed up front. They're rumoured to get Brozier. They've got Calvin Phillips on loan. I think the manager's actually pretty good. So I think 17th feels good now. It feels good. 16th, I've gone Everton surviving once again. I think there's teams a lot worse than them. I think Sean Dyche has a lot of experience. Oh, we do love experience, don't we? Onana has moved to Villa, though, which is what I like to call a big problemo. Branthwaite might be on his way out. I think there's a chance he stays, but they have bought Jake O'Brien from Lyon. So I think defence-wise, they're going to be pretty good. It's the other end of the pitch. You've got Maupay and Calvert-Lewin. I think a strong defence will probably keep you in the league. Around about 16th if you've got nothing up front. But they might get some goals dotted around, maybe. They need a striker, really. But I don't know how much money they have. And they might get another points deduction. But I just feel you just can't kill Everton. You just die. Everton. Doesn't happen. They just stay in every time. Wolves are my team in 15th. It's essentially the same squad, but without Pedro Neto. I think they've just signed a new random striker. Is he going to be good? I don't even know his name. I'm not convinced. I've essentially got them this high on the basis that they were on the poor end of so many VAR on the poor end of so many VAR calls last year that on sheer probability, I don't think that could happen again. And I think it turns out Gary O'Neill is a pretty shrewd manoeuvrer as a manager. So I think they'll be okay. I don't think it'll be fun. Fulham are my team in 14th. They lost Palhinha to Bayern finally. They won 50% of their games with him in the side compared to 35% without. That's mega. Defensively, they lost Tim Ream. Rest in peace. Enjoy America once again. They got Diego Carlos, though, about to come in potentially from Villa. I think that'll happen. I think that's a pretty good exchange of humans. Tim Ream out, Diego Carlos in. He's 31, but I think it'll do a job. Emile Smith-Rowe is a really good buy. It feels like a peak Fulham signing, but I think he will hit the ground running. You've got Iwobi, you've got Adama Traore, who really has no end product, but I think you've got quite a fun, fast-forward line. 13th, I've gone for Brentford. I mean, their new striker is immediately injured, but you've got Ivan Toney, who it doesn't seem like he's going to... I don't think anyone's come in for him. He's not going to go anywhere. Tottenham have Solanke now. I don't think United are going to go for him. Arsenal aren't going to go for him. So I think a full season Toney, combined with a new striker coming in around like December, because the bloke has turned up injured, makes me feel like they'll be okay. I don't think it's changed too much defensively or in the midfield. So it's, about 13th. 11th to 17th for me this season. It's just an absolute, I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. Brentford could be 17th. It's tough predicting something over a 38 game period. Really, really tough it turns out. So I don't actually feel like I need to justify myself. Brighton in 12th for me. De Zerbi ball is finally over. He's fucked off to Marseille to genuinely try and create the most abhorrent XI of all time. But the squad seemed to sort of tire of him by the end. And Jesus Christ, they conceded a lot. They conceded 62 goals and finished 11th. They survived by 2 points in 2018-19 by conceding 60 goals. Insane. Pascal Gross is gone. Their new manager is 31, but he's essentially a non-league manager. He manages the highest amateur league in Germany for 4 years. And then he got the caretaker job at Sao Paulo for a week. And then they gave him it permanently, did the rest of the season, and then got promoted for the first time. He's had one full season of second-tier football in Germany. And now he's got a Premier League job of a club who want to be finishing 8th now. They want Europa League, Conference League places routinely and consecutively. So it's a big gamble. But they're here on the basis that Brighton just seem to keep doing it. They just keep on regenerating people from the middle of bloody nowhere, and it just works. So they're in 12th. It'll work until it doesn't work, and then I'll predict that they'll be bad again. Bournemouth, 11th. Solanke is a gigantic miss. He's 18 goals last year. Sickening. Sickening indeed. But quite honestly, Bournemouth are here because I think Iriola is good, and I think they will get a striker in, and they have got a striker in yesterday. Some £47 million bloke. Now, do I think he's going to score lots of goals? I'm not so sure. That's pretty hard to do. I reckon 10. If he gets 10, that's probably a good return, to be honest. It's quite hard to find a guy to score 10 goals in the Premier League. But they've got Enes Unal, who I do think is quite good. He was at the City Group. And Daniel Jebison as their other two strikers. So really, it hinges on the basis of this new fella coming in and hitting the ground running. But now we're 10th, and we're looking at good squads, and we're looking up. Crystal Palace. Mark Gahey in danger of leaving to Newcastle, which would contribute a lot to the positioning of these teams. They've got Trevor Chalobah as a rumoured replacement. Not quite a straight swap, that. Not convinced of the equality and quality between those two players, but it would be okay. I think Oliver Glasner has sparked something new in this team. They've obviously lost Elise, but I think Eze is absolutely fantastic. And they've got Mateta, who is still, over the summer in the Olympics, the second coming of Thierry Henry. Baffling. But I'm so buzzing to see him doing well, because he did really well at Mainz, I believe, before he joined Crystal Palace. He had a really, really good goals to game ratio. And I like when someone from the Bundesliga comes over and does well in England, because people just keep calling it a shit league, and it's not. It's so much fun, and there are good players in there, okay? Don't be rude. West Ham, 9th, the club that has won the transfer window. It's a pretty gigantic squad, and they don't have Europa League this season. But Todibo, Max Kilman, Wan-Bissaka, Somerville, Fulkrug, Paqueta, who is still allowed to play football at this moment in time, Kudus, Bowen, Ward-Prowse, Lopetegui as manager. What a fantastic squad that is. Really good. I feel like they shored up the defence. I feel like the manager will help with that as well. I think Fulkrug will get 12 goals. I think he's going to be good. Back him. I think he genuinely is a Champions League level striker. He scored some beauties in the Champions League last season, and he came up clutch for Germany in the Euros as well. He is that guy. And I know West Ham have a striker curse, but I think Fulkrug will break that curse. 8th, I'm going for the gigantic corporation of Chelsea Football Club. They've got 44 players in their squad. 44. They have about 6 goalkeepers. And who is number 1? I don't know. Is it Robert Sanchez? Is it Petrovic who came in and did reasonably okay? I don't know. But Pochettino did show that you can actually get some good results and performances out of this team. And they ended up finishing like 6th last year. They finished above United. Crazy. But they've binned him off, and he's now manager of America. And they've got Enzo Maresca because they want to play. As Maresca just said, they want to be Man City. They want to be Pep Guardiola. And Maresca was a coach at City under Guardiola, and he tries to play that similar football. He says he doesn't, but he tries to play that similar football, which upset the Leicester fans last season. They actually weren't too fussed about him going, to be honest, despite getting them promoted, because apparently the football was just not enjoyable, which is why I feel like Chelsea might have a similar issue with this, but higher up the table. I feel like they might have a season where like an old City season where we'd be off it and you start to question, like, why are we still playing this football? It doesn't work. It's bloody annoying. No, it works with the correct man and the correct people. I don't think they have either. So 8th. 7th, I've gone for Aston Villa. I think Champions League will take its toll on Aston Villa, but less so because of Emery, who has pretty much always been in European football. So I think we'll have a little dent, maybe via injuries or so, or just giving up, maybe weakening a side for a future Champions League fixture, and then you might drop a couple points here and there due to the little drop in quality. Onana from Everton is a great buy. Ian Matson, equally good, because they've got Digne and Alex Moreno, who are both 31 years old, fullback now. So I think the squad's marginally improved. I think Watkins should continue, and it's just about managing the Champions League. Manchester United, a 6th for me. De Ligt, Mazraoui, Xerxes, on paper seem like good buys, and I think maybe they are. I don't know. He just buys people who are either Dutch or played in Holland or previously coached by him all the time. And how many times has that worked? And I just think, as I've predicted all the time for probably the past like 4 seasons. Oh, they're so back. Oh, they're not back. Oh, they're back. Oh, they're not back. Oh, they're back. Oh, they're not back. He was going to get sacked. There was no one else good to buy. There's no one else good to hire. And they accidentally won the FA Cup, okay. All right. A little bit of a stinker at the back from us. All right. All right. Okay. Fine. It kept him in the job, but it almost didn't keep him in the job because the football's so bad. They're just awful. 5th. Newcastle United, missing out on European football is probably a good thing for them this year. Less games, hopefully less injuries to Isaac and everyone else. If they get Gahey from Palace, it's going to be, I think this is going to be like end of the season between 5th and 4th. So they could easily get 4th. Tonali served as ban, so he'll be back. Like a new signing. We do like that cliche. I do like it. Nick Pope has to be fit all year. A lot of this is predicated on injuries because last year was so battered by injuries, to be quite honest. The keeper situation was honking and the defending situation was honking. So get Gahey in, keep Nick Pope fit, Tonali serving his ban. I think they're back. I've got Spurs edging them into 4th. I like Ange. I really like Ange, and they fell away at the end of last season, but I feel like the Solanke buy is a great buy. I feel like they finally purchased this guy who scores goals. I think that then means the competition up front is a little bit better because Son could go out onto the left. Richarlison needs to buck his ideas up, needs to get better. I think they'll edge it this year. I think they would have learnt some lessons from last year. 3rd, I'm going Liverpool. Liverpool in third. It's impossible. They could have an entire drop-off. They really could. Completely new manager. However, I just think the general quality of their squad, even on a poor season, should still be the third best team in the league as of this moment. I'm concerned. Well, I'm not concerned. They're concerned, or they should be concerned, about Zubimendi not joining. He must have given them the green light to go through this entire process before changing his mind, which is brutal, but that's football. Clubs can do it as well. Football, you have to be selfish. You can't be loyal in football as a player or a club. It's just not. It's just like brutal sport. That's what it is. Oh, I think they could finish sixth. They could finish third, but I'm going to put them third. I think they'll get someone in. They have to get someone in at DM, and I think they'll be okay. And then second and first, I've gone for Manchester City to finish first 5 times in a row. Now, this is a little tinge of bias because, you know, this is my team. Since I was born, before you ever been here before, and you start thinking I'm some sort of glory hunter. Since '95, you little pricks. Quite frankly, until Pep leaves. We've won 4 in a row, which no one had ever done before. Everyone said we wouldn't do that. We've done that. Now we've got to do 5. And until I see otherwise, I think we can do it again. I think it'll be even closer than last year. But providing Arsenal don't buy a striker by the end of this window, I just think they've improved their defence even more. But I don't think that's what lost them the league. They had the least amount of goals conceded in the entire league. They had the best defence last year. For us, I'm a bit worried about the motivation. I think breaking a record is a motivation, but is pretty much breaking your own record a strong enough motivation? I'm not so sure. But I think we do it because of Pep Guardiola. Let me know your predictions in the comments down below. I've been your boy Kieran, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.